everyone, Joe here from Action X. Welcome to Let Joe Talk, or welcome back. Hope everything's doing well in your life. You're doing great, especially as we're still in this new era. Also, by the way, this is the first episode I'm recording in a President Biden. So there you go. I was gonna make a little funny joke with the Captain America shield that I got, but I forgot to make that joke. So I just wanted to show it off. It's so fucking cool. One day I'll show it off more properly. Anyway. This week, this topic, we're talking about something that I've been thinking about lately, because I had this discussion back at the end of December with Alan, who at the time of this recording again, I just released the first episode of the Action X podcast with him. So we were talking about movies that we were going to see in 2021 in terms of just viewing it as friends, with our other friend in our friend group, and we were discussing Fantastic Beasts 3, and we were talking about the whole Matt Mikkelsen replacing Johnny Depp thing, because if you're unaware, last fall, after I think things were cleared out with the whole Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard lawsuit, the Warner Bros. Dropped Johnny Depp from Fantastic Beasts 3 and presumably the remaining sequels as Gellert Grindelwald. And Alan and I were discussing how, because we're both big Harry Potter fans, big Wizarding World fans, and we were very much on opposite spectrums on where to continue, because but that's not the topic of the week. I'm just explaining that I was going to still see Fantastic Beasts 3 in theaters, while he wasn't going to do it in protest due to the fact that Warner Bros. Kicked Johnny Depp off the project. For me, I was thinking about this fairly clearly, because there's just so much that's changed in the landscape in the past, I think, 4 or 5 years going into, and that kind of just spawned that whole nother chain in my head, because I just recently started getting back into movies in terms of just watching it, because I've been so busy on the TV show front with obviously doing What's on the Tube, and then just me generally as a average binger and owning a lot of streaming services. I've been very much on that side, but now lately I've been transitioning back over to watching more movies now lately, which I've been cleverly enjoying. And then I've just been noticing certain directors and certain actors that I've been watching from old films I used to watch when I was growing up, and I realized things have changed with them in the current society, where I think the question is that I'm asking this week, and this is going to be an open-ended question. There's no answer for me. It's going to be a case-by-case thing as we continue this episode, and I'm asking you this question as well as the viewers. Is it right to support an actor, an actress, or a director, or anyone involved in the makings of a movie, a TV show, or any sort of a media? Is it right to support them after they've been outed and outed in terms of they did something horrible, or if they've been accused, or that sort of stuff? And I've seen tons of examples. Sorry, microphone. In more recent years, and I think now it's more prevalent nowadays for me personally as a viewer, that I have to pay attention to this sort of thing, and it's kind of hard to. Well, let me go through because I'm gonna go for some core examples I have. So first of all, it's Johnny Depp. I feel like for me, what's ironic. So for me, I know the whole thing with anything related to he said versus she said, or in the case of a divorce getting nasty and then accusation getting thrown down and stuff like that. That first of all, I'm not talking about that case. I'm not talking about the evidence on that case. My personal belief is that I think both partners have made mistakes. I think Amber Heard needs to be accounted for her actions too. I do not think Johnny Depp deserves all the hate he's getting, or anything him getting dropped from movies and projects. I am a big fan of Johnny Depp. I've been a fan of him since 2005 from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I will continue supporting him. I feel comfortable saying that. I really love him as an actor. He has done amazing work. I've just seen his performance in Murder on Orient Express, and oh my god, that actor is so good. And I've just rewatched the Fantastic Beasts film back in October, November, and I'm like, wow, this guy does not get enough praise for playing Grindelwald in Crimes of Grindelwald. I said this back in 2018, and I'll say it again. If you follow me on Twitter, I really like that movie, and I really love his performance. The fact that now I may never see him again in terms of seeing him on a project, because he's a liability to these projects, to other movies and shows, I feel really bad for, because again, circumstances aside, through his divorce with Amber Heard, I don't believe he gets that much of the hate. Now, of course, the thing is that with anything, we don't truly know 100% what was going on in those situations. We never will, because unless you are there and you are witnessing it, it's never going to be 100% ironclad. There's always that variable that could change everything. So my opinion could change. I'm just saying that right now, what I know on that front, I believe Johnny Depp does not deserve the what he's receiving. I think he should have a little bit more, of a lenience. And again, I know that's a very loaded thing to say, but again, remember, this is Let Joe Talk. This is my opinion. This is my biased opinion that is not influenced by anyone. I am speaking from my heart and my mind. If you want to talk to me about it, I'm open in the comments. I am more than happy to have a civil discussion, but there you go. So I believe I'm still gonna watch Johnny Depp. I'm still gonna eventually rewatch Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm still gonna enjoy those movies again, and I don't have a problem with that. But then you get to other cases where there's this the director Brent Renner, which I know of him from the Rush Hour trilogy, and then I watched his other film that came after that, Tower Heist. I think all of them are great in terms of the movies, because I watched Rush Hour 3 with my dad and my mom when it came out on DVD, and I really enjoyed those films. And then I saw Tower Heist, and I thought it was a good film, and he's directed all of them. And then everything happened, and then there was his accusations, and then oh my god, that was like, what he did was, oh man, that was tough. And I didn't know. I just thought he looked like a nice dude, and then you hear what he's been saying to what he was saying to Elliot Page when he was Ellen Page back and when X-Men 3 was filming. I'm like, dude, you're not supposed to do that at all. That's completely not called for. And now that I know of him in a different light, and I was thinking like, oh my god, can I even support this film, the films again that he's made? But then again, on the other side of things, I love Jackie Chan. I love Chris Tucker. I love the Rush Hour trilogy. That's like, I've clamored for years for a Rush Hour 4. Now, will we ever get it? I don't really know. I don't think you can ever make. Here's the thing: you'll never make it again with that same creative team. Never again. That's like gone, impossible, and gone. And rightfully so. But I miss that world. I love those characters. I miss the dynamic between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. And I don't believe the director, what he's done in the past, should affect the works of those two actors as well as the cast they were with. But it's hard sometimes because every director makes their mark on a movie. Like, sure, the actors and the actresses are basically leading the charge. We're seeing their performance, but someone has to direct those performances and guide them to make the movie, and as well as compose what the movie's going to be when we see it in theaters or on DVD or on our TV screens. You have to take account of that too. So it gets very difficult on how you want to continue supporting that. Like, do you just stop watching those movies because it's too much of an influence, or is there enough to say, well, the actors' performance are much more stronger than the directors? Which I know is really, it depends on the movie as well, because like you have a Christopher Nolan who's like, oh my god, a phenomenal director. Like, even post Dark Knight trilogy for me, I love his movies. But of course, obviously the performances in his in those movies as well, such as Inception, Dunkirk. I haven't seen Tenet yet. I want to see that badly. The actors are also doing like a lot of work as well. But nowadays with those types of films, like, that's a Nolan movie, so you're gonna go see it because of Christopher Nolan, that sort of thing. So I think it gets a little bit into the weeds. Like, is it a case by case basis, which is what I'm assuming. I'm gonna still watch the Rush Hour trilogy. Like, that's never gonna change my heart. I know Brent Renner did a lot of bad stuff, but I love those movies. And I know that's like, you need to show your stance, like, okay, you can't watch them anymore because he's done bad things. I get that, but I love Jackie Chan. I love Chris Tucker. I love them too much, and I don't like. Those are the only 3 movies they've ever been there. I'm not gonna stop that. I'm gonna show my kids those movies someday when they're old enough. Obviously, they're a little bit more on the higher rating, so I'm not gonna like show them right away when they're born. But I don't. That's another thing. I'm not gonna prohibit them from watching it. And I will never prohibit myself from ever doing a rewatch of them because I love them so much. I have so many memories with those movies. And there's a lot of other people, like back in, this was more recent, back in 2019, well, the movie came out in 2020 for me, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie with the whole Vic Mignogna case. That one has been a very much of a weird, like, that's a divisive, straight down the middle. Like you'll find people who support him and then people who oppose him. I have no stance. I have no stance because I only know of him from Broly as a character, so I've only seen him a handful of times. It's not like a Sean Shem or Chris Sabat where I'm like I'm such a big fan of them because of their performances, Goku and Vegeta, as well as for Mr. Sabat in All Might in My Hero Academia, and Sean Shem has done a lot of amazing other roles beyond Goku. So I'm not as tuned as Vic Mignaga. So for me, I have no real stance in it, and I understand like well everyone needs to have a say in it. I do get that, and I think you should, but I'm not gonna say anything because like I don't know the actor. I have read the accusations. It's a lot of hearsay. She said like he says no, she says yes, and it's going back to what I said before near the top of the show. We don't know what's going on in those situations. If you're not there witnessing it, you have to assume, you have to still take that 1% that the situation could have been misinterpreted, miscontextualized, or something else could have happened. There's always that 1%. I'm sorry to say that, like, no matter what, everything you hear, no matter how ironclad it is, I always take it as a 99%. Like, it's most likely the reason, but there's always that 1%. It's like everything gets switched over because you have to leave that possibility open that something could change and something could come up that could affect everything. So that's why I keep things open. But it's the same thing. Like, if the accusations were true, then you shouldn't do that. I'm not saying yes or no on this matter because I don't know him and I don't have a say in it. I don't have I know a couple people who I love him and they have their own say because of his performances. Like I understand that they can have their own say because they feel a connection. Same with me with Johnny Depp. That's kind of how I'm perceiving it. So I'm mentioning this, but I'm not putting a side on it because like I don't have enough of a connection with him to. I will say this, like with the accusation, like yeah, definitely, if it's true, that's bad. You can't do that. But if it's not true, then I don't know what's come. I don't know why that came out because again I understand like that came out after Broly came out in dub form in America. So I'm like, yeah, the timing of things, like, oh, people are talking about him again because this was the return of Broly in a big screen theater, as well as the return of the character in the actual main series continuity. So it's kind of a big deal, and I think people were, and we know as fans, like Broly's gonna have a big role in Dragon Ball Super, whenever that is, in terms just of the manga and the anime. And that was gonna lead to hopefully more Vic Minaga stuff for him to return to, then that happened. So like. And then Johnny Young Bosch took over, which he's a great guy. I'm watching him right now. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and he played 9 in the Heroes Rising movie. He's a great BA. He's going to do well. But that's the other thing. Like I'm still like I'm eventually going to see the works he's been a part of in anime. So maybe I'll have a say in the matter. But I'm not going to let that in that side of things. I'm not going to let that. Like the thing is that the product's been completed. Like I know, like no matter what, most of the times when an actor or a director or an actress, like something happens with them, and then everything's out. No matter what, the product they've done before is out. It's released. It's out in the public. People have seen it, so you can't erase that from your public perspective. Now, of course, there's a lot of big other serious cases, such as the two I'm going to mention is obviously I can't go without saying Kevin Spacey. I will say this: I have never seen a Kevin Spacey work before. I could be wrong. I have not checked his filmography. I don't believe I've ever seen the man act in a movie or show before. I could be wrong. I haven't searched it up. I haven't done my research, so to speak. The things he's done is very, very, very bad. I definitely, again, even though that's another thing. Like you hear so much of it, but because the thing is there's just been so much proof that's come out of it, and the backlash and the what studios have done to kind of distance themselves from it is there's a reason to everything. But and in that case, me being a person that has not yet seen any of his work that I'm aware of, maybe I have seen him before somewhere. I just don't recall anything that I've remembered. But I will probably not see any of his work because this has been something that's going on for years, and maybe I am contradicting myself with what other people have already, put my side on or not put my side on. So it's like, well, why is this person not have that, but you were going to do this with this other person? I understand that. I get that. It's just you just gotta read. That's why it's a case by case thing, because I think for me, like I'm around so many people that watch anime that they recommend me tons of anime, and it's inevitable that I'm gonna run into that specific VA, or at least for an actor. You can go your entire life without seeing an actor. Like I see a lot of shows and movies. Like I see it for another actor or an actress, or just because I love the source material that they're adapting from, or I like the concept of the show, and then you are introduced to all these other actors, that are around them, and like you never met them before. Like I know I'm gonna say this for the billionth time on The Rookie. I never knew of the actor who played Commander Gray, and he is very established in the acting community, and he's done a lot of work. I have not seen anything from him in like I've been alive now for alive and watching movies and shows. I've been around now for like 18 years, and I've never seen him in anything. So it is entirely plausible, and there are people who like just generally do not know of an actor or an actress or anyone famous. They just don't know because it's just not on their spectrum. So for me, like, yeah, I can go my entire life without seeing a Kevin Spacey work, and I will not complain. Because there's no one around me that's recommending it to me. There's no one that's talking about it. So I'm like, okay, I'll never have to watch it. So it's a win-win for me. So I don't have a say in it. Like I rated, I abhor them. Definitely not. Oh my god, I have a running gag now where I was recording What's in the Tube a couple weeks ago, and this car just kept honking and honking because the alarm went up. And now, if you can hear it, I'm sorry, that's on my end. But and then I think the last one, it's kind of big in the most recent sphere, the last year or 2 years ago. I think it was last year. I could be wrong. It was a long 2020, so I could be wrong in this. Is the J.K. Rowling, the transphobia comics, and when I have heard so many different perspectives on like where do you take her as her work after that. Because it's very difficult where to draw the line now, because we're in a whole new world where things are different. Things are not old school anymore, old fashioned. Like the old ways are done. We're moving on. We're modernizing. We're growing up. We're being more open to things. And I don't think those comments were very particularly in her favor. I think like the thing is that you're allowed to speak what you're allowed to speak. You just got to be careful with the wording of things, as well as we are in a new world where it's like more like there's a new normal to things. Like everything, like for me, I am open to anything, and everyone is allowed to be happy. That's my stance on things. But the thing is that when those comments came out, and then the whole internet exploded because they were against her. A lot of people have said that they're not going to watch the next Fantastic Beasts movie because she's personally scripting the movie, or continue to support Harry Potter. And there's people there's a game coming out now in 2022, Hogwarts Legacy. There's a good amount of people that are just not going to play the game because that's related to Harry Potter and what J.K. Rowling said. They can't support that. For me, I don't support her comments at all. But you guys, I love Harry Potter too much. I'm sorry. I know her comments were bad, but she is the author of the books. But the books have already now moved past beyond her. Like there's going to be now other people like Star Wars. Like George Lucas started Star Wars, but now you have dozens and dozens of people working on Star Wars, expanding the universe. So, I mean, yeah, remember when George Lucas basically everyone hated the prequel trilogy, now everyone's divisive on the sequel trilogy. No matter what, people are always going to work on that franchise. Now with Harry Potter, they're going to inevitably spin that off into new areas with new people involved. But now it'll become something different. So the world has already sustained itself to the point where it's new people can take over and start painting this new either past, future, or even side presence or whatever. But I love Harry Potter too. I love Harry Potter a lot. I grew up with those movies. I think I saw the first movie when it just came out on DVD, and I saw the third one when I was I saw that in theaters, and I love those experiences. I remember seeing the sixth Half-Blood Prince when my parents just announced they were getting divorced. They were physically separating, and my mother took me to see Harry Potter 6. And I ironically, Alan was in the audience, so I got to sit with him and we talked about everything. And obviously we wanted to go watch the movie, but the movie helped me forget about the divorce for like 2 hours, and I cannot. I have a Prince, even though a lot of people they're very divisive, like a little bit more mixed on it. I love that movie a lot because it just helped me out. It made me forget. It made me forget my world and transported me to the Wizarding world. So I cannot discount that. I can't. That's something that I can't. And again, that's the same thing I said before. Everything is a case by case basis. I think everything needs to be evaluated in terms of your opinion, your thought process, and if you want to support someone or something, that's your decision. If you don't want to, that's also your decision. It's your choice. You don't have to follow the bandwagon. You don't, because there's always going to be that small percentage of people that will support something, whether you think it's not great or the other person thinks it's not great, or something in the vice versa type of scale. I'm going to play Hogwarts Legacy because I've been waiting to play an immersive Hogwarts game. I've been waiting for that game for so long, and I'm going to play it. So that's where my stamp is on that. I do not support J.K. Rowling's comments, but I will never say goodbye to the Wizarding World. I still want to go back to the Wizarding World in Universal in Orlando once freaking Corona's over and I can finally start traveling. Well, once they're open too, and then things are starting to go safely again. I need to go back, but I think the whole point of it is there's no answer to the question of this week's episode. Like, there is no answer because everything's just case by case. And everyone's different. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own different mindset. Everyone has their own different way of thinking. That needs to be respected. You can have a civil discussion with someone else about it, but the thing is that don't let it turn into an argument. Don't, because they have their reasons and you have your reasons, and you need to respect each other to the point. It's like, okay, I respect your opinions. I don't agree with them, but we do not have to have an argument about this because it's not worth having an argument. Because at the end of the day, these are all opinions in terms of if you want to support something after something something has happened to them. That's your decision. Because again, those works are completed. They're done. If they make anything else post that, yeah, sure, yeah, that's fine. If you don't want to support them, that's fine. To send your message. But if you do want to support them to send your message, take it as you will. I view things now on a case by case basis. I need to read everything. I need to understand anything before I form a logical opinion. But if I don't have any sort of connection or I don't know everything, I will not make an opinion, and that also needs to be respected. So, with that being said, that's kind of how I view things. I'm like, to kind of sum up at least my example. I will still watch the Rush Hour trilogy. I will buy Hogwarts Legacy, and I will probably see Tower Heist again whenever I get bored, because I don't know, Eddie Murphy's just a funny guy. He is. I can't wait for Coming to America. I can't wait. And I mean Coming to America, the sequel. That's what I don't mean Coming to America, which was the first one, but they already released that. But things are confusing. You know what I mean. All right, I think that's gonna do it for me this week, guys. So let me know in the comments again if you want to have a civil discussion about this. I'm open. Please comment below. I'm always available for comments. So yeah, so I'll see you there. But if you're unaware, this has been Let Joe Talk from ActionX. If you want to see more of Let Joe Talk, please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionX. Ring the bell for notification when our next episode live, which is every single Wednesday, barring any changes to the schedule. As well as favorite, share this video if you want to. It does help us get us out there to new people who have not yet seen our content. So please, it does help us out, and it's free. As well as follow us on Twitter to be up to date on certain updates and such, as well as follow us on Twitch. We're streaming there every Sunday before a brand new episode of The Rookie. So, with that being said, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, be good to each other, and peace out.